like to call the April 14th meeting of the Municipal Airport Authority to order. And before we approve the minutes, I want to welcome our newest member, John Cosgrove. Great. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. Sean, thanks for all the reading. You know, I'm sheltering at home, so you've really taken care of when I can't sleep. I can pull out some stuff there. But lifelong resident of Fargo, Fargo South graduate, NDSU graduate.
What year Fargo South?
1970 at Fargo South. And found my way all the way to NDSU. I have a bachelor's degree in economics and a master's degree in economics from NDSU. Spent some time with the Upper Great Plains Transportation Institute. Very specific career centered around the Interstate Commerce Commission and regulatory hearings over railroad freight rates on wheat, other commodities. Didn't have a real wide application in that career. Left that, started my own business, owned and operated businesses for a while. Sold those, stumbled into the classroom over at Moorhead State University and taught finance and marketing there in mid-'80s. Don't know what quite possessed me to leave academic freedom and the university, but I went to work for the U.S. government then with the Small Business Administration, which was quite a shock, really, to go from an academic environment to the government bureaucracy and standard operating procedures. But that was an interesting time. The SBA training was extensive and very well done. Really broadened what I was looking at in the area of international trade, government procurement, lending.
Great.
A number of things like that. I left the Small Business Administration and joined a group that was starting venture capital funds. And so had 4 partners, world headquarters in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Partner in Kansas City, 2 in Cedar Rapids, and 1 out in Portland. And so,
wow, very diverse.
Yeah, our partnership is still active today. We still own about a dozen companies that we're still trying to. Anybody want to buy a company? Some deals here, especially now. Our partnership worked very well because we never physically met in the same location. We tried it once, it didn't work, and so we never met face to face after that.
Wow.
We continue to operate that way.
So you're kind of used to what we're going through now.
Oh yeah. We were doing remote partner meetings every Monday for 25 years.
Oh, that's great.
It started out with conference calls and fax machines. Finally, our oldest partner, we took away the fax machine. It was the only way to stop. You remember David. So from that, about 6-7 years ago already, we decided not to do any more venture funds. My wife decided that I wasn't ready to come home and sit around, so I found my way to NDSU with the research park and managing the incubator, working with their startup companies, and been doing that for about 6 years now.
That's great.
Yeah, spent 12 quick, short, uneventful years in the Fargo City Commission. Ended with defeat to Denny Wallaker in the mayor's contest. So here I am today.
And we're glad you're here. You bring a great depth of experience. So thanks. I'm so glad you're here and welcome.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
I'll keep reading. And,
Oh yeah, it's endless. Still learning.
It hasn't changed since the late 90s, has it, Sean?
No.
Okay, let's look at the March 10th and March 24th minutes. We were all emailed those. Any additions or corrections to the minutes of either date? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved as printed. You see attached the airport vouchers totaling $36,639.21. Are there any corrections or any questions about the vouchers?
None. Move to approve as stated.
Okay,
Second.
moved and seconded to approved as printed. Voice, roll call vote?
Megan?
Aye.
Cosgrove?
Aye.
Lind? Eric, are you on? Eric Lind?
I don't know if he's able to talk.
Okay.
Yes.
Hogan?
Aye.
Lind?
Aye. Number 3, approve the individual vouchers as followed, A through E. You can see on the agenda.
Motion to approve A through E as listed.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on that? Any questions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote?
Megan?
Aye.
Cosgrove?
Aye.
Hogan?
Aye.
Lind?
Aye.
Suppose we could ask Darren if he's, Darren? Okay, so nobody can answer?
They should be able to. Are we on
Might be
speaker?
on mute.
Darren Anderson?
Is there a different?
Is anyone else joining
Shorter
us?
meeting.
You know, we can
That's
hear
the
them.
new protocol.
Yeah, I can hear something, but maybe they just can't.
Jeff Klein, are you on? Terry Stroh?
Henry's on. I'm Jordan.
Okay.
Jeff is here,
Okay.
Hey, Terry Stroh?
and I see Terry's face.
All
I
right.
see his face on the video, so.
But we can't hear him?
How about Eric Lind?
What in the world?
How about Stacy Bossert?
Why aren't we hearing him?
She's on, but she has it on her cell phone. I can see
Okay.
her on the video too.
Okay, good.
But not Eric Lind?
Well, so why can't we hear him?
Have they muted?
Can you unmute him? Or,
Can you unmute yourselves, guys? The ones who are talking, I know have.
If they have it on their screen, it will appear that they're muted.
Yeah.
yeah, so somebody's got how to.
All right, hey, this is Darren.
Okay.
I can see him on the video, and I've admitted all the participants, but is there something I have to do for the video to add those guys?
I think if they've muted themselves or they started muted, they have to unmute the
Yeah.
microphone.
They do have to unmute their microphones. So if, does Zoom,
Alright.
I can't remember if Zoom has a little, you can.
It's a little icon.
Yeah,
microphone.
I know Teams does. Well, we'll continue, and number 4, adopt a resolution of appreciation to outgoing Municipal Airport Authority member Dr. Virginia Clark Johnson.
I would so move.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And if I remember correctly, at a later date, we will have a meeting where she can accept the resolution? Is that, and don't we do a plaque?
Oh,
We don't decide.
You, okay. So for the resolution, what will,
Joan will draw one up.
Joan will draw one up?
Yeah,
And then,
we'll send it to her, and then, at some point, what we've done in the past is we've put together a kind of a reception for
Yeah.
current and former board members.
Yeah.
announce it, and then present plaques at that time.
okay,
So,
that's what I thought. I knew it
probably
was.
this fall.
Okay, yeah, this fall. That would be great. Also, you know, it'd be nice if, I know you're gonna do the resolution, but I'd like to have, I'll pick up a card and each one of us can sign it, so it's a personal note to her, okay?
Okay.
Okay, 5, receive the bid tabulation from TL Stroh Architects for proposed SRE building and modifications. Consider recommendation of award for each contract.
Terry, are you able to speak?
Terry?
I understand what's going on. I know they said he's online, but what is wrong with the technology today?
Yeah, you know what, I'm here. Stacy was gonna try call in on the analog line and get around that way. I don't know why the video people aren't able to hear or talk.
Eric is on the call, but he can't talk.
Do you want to have Terry just call in on one of the cells and we can
Terry
put it
Stroh, why don't you call my cell phone?
Well, you can call that number on the thing and I'll get him in that way, just not the video one.
All right.
Okay.
So we gotta have Terry explain some of the stuff here on this. Sorry about that, I don't know what.
Well, this is all new technology and it's all new for everybody. Let's put that on, let's see.
We kinda need Stacy for the next one. Stacy, are you gonna call in on a different line?
So we need Stacy.
Here, this is Jeff. Terry's gonna hang up and try again here, so.
Okay,
All right, we'll just wait.
okay.
This is Stacy. I'm in on the phone.
All right, so
Great.
Stacy, why don't we go to item 6, on the deferral agreement with the city of Fargo. What I can tell the members is this has been quite some time in the making. Project BN16C is for the installation of utilities that occurred north of County Road 20 along 25th Street North. And the special assessments are against property that cannot be developed. It's in the runway protection zone, it's in the runway clear zone on the far north end of the terminal building of the airport property. And I'm just going to show the members that are on the map here where we're at. So it's basically this area north of the airport off the extended center line of the runway. The specials were spread on this property here that can't be developed. So the FAA has a policy that if there's no immediate benefit, we cannot pay the special assessments. So while they have been special assessed, the FAA won't allow us to pay the specials because there's no immediate benefit. The water main goes in, you immediately hook it up, the sanitary sewer goes in, and so forth. So the Finance Committee did approve the deferral of the specials, and the agreement for the deferral of the specials has been sitting there for quite some time. So Stacy and Nancy Morris got together and worked that out. We do have a final copy of that as well. It also includes a project, Improvement District 5130, which was a water main that was installed over 15 years ago. And the history on that is that Gary Stewart and Mark Bittner had a phone call and they agreed that there's no immediate benefit to the property, and the city of Fargo deferred it for 10 years. It came up for renewal back in 2016. It was extended another 10 years, but nobody can find the agreement. So this agreement now then kind of
Wraps both in.
wraps that up. We went through Gary's records, Mark went through his records when he was still city engineer, and other than they acknowledged the conversation, it happened, but there was never nothing in writing. So this actually takes care of 2 special assessment projects for the airport, and we can sign that today and put that to rest. The reason that it came up again was because Cass County continues to send us past due notices on the 3 parcels that are being special assessed. And while verbally they acknowledge that, yeah, we understand there's an agreement, but there's nothing signed. So from this point, Stacy will take that, get it back to Nancy, get the mayor to sign it, and then it will be recorded, I believe, by the city. Correct, Stacy?
Either way, they can sure record it, and then I will take it upon myself to take what special assessments sit out there right now that should just be taken off the books. So we ensure that that happens, so everything's square with the county.
Okay.
You know, I want, at the March 24th meeting, we discussed this, and I want to give special thanks to Commissioner Strand, because this has been going on for years and years. And Stacy, you and John and Sean, you guys did a great job coming to some resolution on this. You know, hopefully this, you know, we won't have to have things linger so many years if we have an issue coming up. Yes?
Yes, can you refresh my memory as to how much the specials were on these 3?
I think collectively it's in excess of 600,000,
Yeah.
I would guess.
I was thinking
I was
550.
thinking 7, but
Oh, were you? Okay.
It might be more, but I can get you a number, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
A significant amount.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I actually remember this. And the problem, and Gary Stewart was very creative at times, you couldn't make the special just go away. And so Gary came up with the devious plot to defer it. And for some reason, 10 years was picked, and that Gary right now would be having that little impish grin of his saying, oh yeah, we forgot to renew it.
Right.
So.
Well, that's great.
And then he'd bill it, right?
Yeah.
So
Well-
it's a unique situation, but those sometimes come up in the special assessments.
Sure.
The other thing, and who knows what would ever happen, but if the airport decided to move and the property was sold,
Right.
then that underlying special would be there. So.
Yeah,
That's correct.
great. Well, thank
I
you.
remember being confused by Gary at the time, saying, well, why do we even levy it if we're gonna defer it
I don't-
forever? And, well, that's just beyond you, so.
Because the source of funds all comes from the same property
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, yeah.
Stacy, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I would just say that it's that interrelationship between what state law says that a city may assess, whether the assessment can be paid. It's a totally different question, and that's where the FAA comes in. So the city needs to follow state statutes, but then we needed to work it through the FAA to say, no, the airport can't pay these. That's, I guess, all I would add.
Correct. Good.
All right.
Thank you. So we don't need a vote on that.
You can if you'd like.
Okay.
Voice vote.
Let's do a voice vote for, is there a motion?
A move to accept the consolidated agreements to defer and let Sean, Stacy, and the city attorney handle the closing of it.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that the consolidated agreement be referred or deferred, and Sean, Stacy, and the city will work out the details. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. Motion carried.
So let's see, Terry, you on now?
Yeah, I am.
All right,
Yay.
thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. All right, it's all yours, Terry.
With my audio, so you'll have to speak up, I guess.
Okay, so go ahead. We've got the bid tabulation here and a recommendation of award. And the only thing I'll say to the board members is in the bid tabulation that you received, you'll see a lot of red squares for government forms. And when we sat here in this room on April 7th to open the bids, there were a number of contractors that didn't follow the instructions that were in addendum number 2 that were absolutely crystal clear on what had to be included in the outside envelope of the bid tabulation. Crystal clear, you could not mess it up. And these contractors messed that up and their bids were not opened. So we received 2 general contractor bids, we received 1 mechanical bid, and we received 3 electrical bids that we could open. One section that we did not engage was the fuel dispensing and storage system. There were 3 contractors that took out plans. 1 submitted a bid, but once again, we couldn't open it because their government forms were not in the bid bond envelope. That is being rebid now as we speak, and since it's under the state law requirement for 3 weeks of advertising, TL Stroh is taking that forward to get it bid. So Terry, why don't you take it from there?
Okay. Sean, did you give him that sheet that I kind of put the estimate versus the bids on it?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah,
have it.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so as you can see at the top of the page, we were basically under all of the estimate. We were pretty close on general. Mechanical, electrical were a bit lower, and so that came to the base bid of $3,902,907
100,000 to 723, and then you go down to the alternates, and if you remember, the alternates were basically the service bay that was going on to the existing SRE. Our estimate was 670,500, and it came in at 455,700. We also had a re-roofing alternate, which is not necessarily part of, I mean, it's part of this project, but it's not from the standpoint of, well, a separate contract, because it's not going to be reimbursed by the FAA. It's a maintenance cost. And then, and their bid on that was 137,000, so we're a little low there. Mechanically, was more than our estimate. You can see by, you know, a bit actually, and that was part of just kind of a scope of work after talking with Henry and Troy about what was going on there and some of the things they wanted to do. That was a little more complicated mechanically than I think we originally envisioned. Electrically, we're super close to the estimate, only, you know, $5,000 low. And then the relighting, so that was the other alternate, was us relighting the whole facility with LEDs. And again, the engineer's estimate was 85,740, and it came in at 61,875. Paving was way under the estimate, so that was a nice thing. So when we get down to it, we're at if we accept the base bid plus all the alternates, we're quite a bit low, $1,236,858. One of the things I would point out is in the actual bid, you could, in our soft costs, you could take out the building permit, because that would be in the bid prices. We always show that because we just like to show owners that there are other things that add to the cost when we're doing an addition or doing a building. And I didn't take it out because I thought it might be confusing. So anyway, I took it out. That wouldn't be in there. We will have a plan review fee that usually comes to us, and then we usually just get reimbursed by you guys. We're still waiting for construction testing on this, and so we were supposed to have some prices on that. Those are not very big amounts, but we got one in, and we felt like we contacted the other two people in town and asked them to send us something. So I'm assuming we might have that easily this week. And then obviously we have a contingency dollar amount in there of $182,000. So we have, you know, for change orders or whatever might happen during the projects. You know, realistically, we're almost $1 million under our budget. So even though it was a frustrating process with regards to the bidding and them not following instructions, we got good contractors, you know, that kind of thing. So we feel good about the pricing. I've talked to all the contractors. They feel good about their pricing and are ready to get going. So we would recommend you taking the entire base bid and alternates.
Hey, Terry, did the contractors, you said they were contacted, how about all the contractors did they understand why we didn't open their bids?
Oh yeah, they understand that.
Okay.
Why, you know, we have yet to figure that out. I was planning on calling one of the contractors that, you know, we actually hired one of the contractors that didn't do our estimate for us, and you can see how close it was. And we don't know if they have a construction guy who's putting together estimate, and not sure if there is another clerical person or another staff person that are putting together the bid itself, and
just forgot.
either didn't see the addendum or nothing. But that was one of the reasons why we did it in an addendum, was so it wasn't lost in the. If you saw the spec book, it's about 2.5 inches thick. So, so it wasn't lost in that. And so, after some conversations with Jeff on what we needed to do, we put it in an alternate or in an addendum, thinking, well, that would, they would definitely get that. And we didn't even get a call on it. Like, you sure you want this in? And it's just kind of goofy.
Okay. Any questions or any additional comments?
So Terry's recommendation is to award the bid, general contractor Meineke Johnson for $2,987,000, mechanical to Northern Plains Mechanical for $591,823, and the electrical to Rickard Electric for $323,900. And included in that is all of the alternates that each of the contractors bid for Meineke Johnson, for Northern Plains Mechanical, and for Rickard Electric.
That's a move.
So those are in addition to that, not
That's
included
correct.
in those numbers.
That's correct, in addition. Thanks, Terry.
In addition,
Second.
what did you say?
They are in addition to the base bid.
In addition to the base
Yeah.
bid.
The other part is they will be bringing forth to us the fuel dispensing and storage system bid that's related to this project at our next board meeting. And we'll go from there. Terry will get contracts set up if you so approve today.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions regarding, I won't go through them if you were following. It's all on the, it's all the ones we discussed and that have complied with state law and federal law and made sure that they've done the packages or the bids appropriately. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we are treating this as a federal project. We intend to apply future airport improvement funds or possibly some of the stimulus funds that we're going to get here in the next few weeks. But definitely we're following the AIP, the federal guidelines for this project. So all the contractors have to follow the federal Davis-Bacon wage rates and all of those things. It's going to be audited and so forth. So all the good things with the federal project. They will, and I think Terry, you spoke with all the contractors. Their number one priority is to get the new building up first before they touch the existing building. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And basically they all kind of said that's how they had planned it is, we'll start doing the excavation and stuff on the storage facility, and they will probably go from that facility. When they're done, they'll go to the addition, and then they'll pour concrete at the storage building, and then they'll pour concrete at the addition. And I just asked them to make sure that there wasn't anything being delayed or work slowed because of the addition, or because of the addition. So we would make the storage building the priority. Basically there's some savings obviously with them in terms of they have a superintendent on site and all these things for both projects, and so they don't want to just do the one and then do the other. They want to do them at the kind of simultaneously, but basically you do everything on the storage building first before you move to the addition. So they all kind of get that. So our big deal right now is it's interesting with the COVID thing. There are instances where we aren't getting, it's hard to get materials because they've shut down plants. And then I actually talked to the electrical contractor or mechanical contractor that said that he had some material that they told him was going to take 8 weeks or 10 weeks to get. And they called him back and said, no, we can have it in 5. We've had too many orders canceled. So we'll see what happens. Right now, probably our most critical thing is steel and joists. And Roger said that that's still pretty on track right now with timing. So that hasn't been affected just yet. So.
Okay. So the motion is first and seconded, award the bids for SREs and alternatives as we stated today. And we anticipate also that we will be getting another bid for the fuel storage coming up at the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, yep.
We'll do a roll call vote.
Mangan.
Aye.
Cosgrove.
Aye.
Lind. Eric, are you on?
Aye.
Haugen.
Aye.
Lind.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the hard work.
Thank
Terry,
you.
you bet. Number 7, receive proposal from Mead and Hunt for construction services associated with the cargo apron expansion project.
Jeff, are you on?
Jeff?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Okay, so I don't have anything for the authority to act on here today because I'm still waiting for one final number for quality assurance testing that'll go into the fee proposal. But I just thought I'd take the opportunity to provide a basic update. So what this is for the UPS cargo apron for Mead and Hunt to provide all the construction services, which is comprised of grant administration as far as applications, AIP drawdowns, pay requests, change orders, reviewing DBE participation, Davis-Bacon wage rates, quarterly reports. I mean, just the whole gamut of FAA requirements for administering the project, as well as construction inspection. So having staff out in the field, making sure that the contractor is building it in accordance with all the FAA specifications, doing all the construction staking for the contractor, providing project closeout reports. We're assuming that there's going to be two required, one for the $10 million of supplemental that's in the airport authority's name, plus any AIP money that would be put towards the project. So, I mean, it's quite an extensive work scope, and obviously it's going to be over $100,000, and because of that, the contractor has to go through an independent fee evaluation. And what I can do is work with, provide our fee proposal once I have the testing number, provide that to Sean, and then over the course of the next few weeks, work with Wes Schoen, who's done all the independent fee evaluations for the airport authority in the past, get his approval, come into an agreement, and get it approved at the authority meeting on April 28th. So, any questions on that?
I know which group we're talking about. Okay.
It's for the construction of all of this. Jeff.
All of that, yeah.
All of this.
We're just
road
showing a visual right now.
in this road and all the utilities. So it's about $18+ million project.
Any questions for Jeff? Thanks for the update, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 8, receive and approve ground lease with United Parcel Service, subject to completion of a legal description.
Okay, well, there's been emails back and forth with our UPS contact today and Stacy on just formatting the lease agreement. I think they took it from a PDF into the Word format and it kind of messed up all the formatting, so UPS and Stacy will work on getting the format, but the ground lease is, the intent is to have it effective May 1st. UPS has awarded the contract, I believe, to Olaf Anderson to build their facility up here. I don't know what the total value is of this building up here and all the parking and everything else that they're doing. But what we're working on right now, and I think Mead and Hunt was contracted to do it, was to get the total meets and bounds, the legal description that we'll use in the lease agreement. And we charge 25 cents a square foot per annum. It's subject to change based on CPI or every 5 years for this whole area up in here that they'll be using. This is the first gateway city that UPS has opened in 18 or 19 years, so they don't do this too often around the country. You know, they came here and they're operating out of temporary facilities right now in their South General Aviation area. Mm-hmm. Everybody can't wait to get them out of there and up to this new facility. Our project, which we will open bids on April 30th, will have a completion date of like September 3rd of 2021. We don't intend to pour any concrete in 2020. All of that will be done in 2021. They believe, UPS believes that they'll be ready to occupy their facility sometime during the summer or late summer, early fall of 2021. So we'll do it in conjunction with them. So the ground lease here that you will approve, subject to, like I say, getting the legal description. If you do that, this is what UPS needs to go to the next step and get their process rolling. Any questions on the ground lease? The ground lease is identical to the ground leases outside of the term and the square footage. The language is the same as what we have in place with Midwest Development and Construction, MDC from Lenexa, Kansas, that built and leases all of the facilities to FedEx, the neighbors. So we have to treat everyone the same. Mm-hmm. All the lease agreements are identical. Stacy, anything to add to that?
I would just add that essentially both lease agreements are a total of 35-year terms, whether it's 15 with 4 to renew or 20 with 3 to renew. So they're pretty long leases, which is
how long did you say?
35.
The total for both FedEx and UPS essentially is 35 years.
Okay.
The language is a little bit different in how they put the terms together, but you know they're lengthy leases.
Okay.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Motion to...
What? What, Stacy?
Well, I just would like to add, and I know Jeff is on the call, there's just one issue with regard to a title commitment versus what I think should just be a title opinion. Since this is not a purchase of land, it's a lease with the buildings being built. And so I just, when we jump off the phone here, Jeff, I'll give you a call and we can chat.
Okay.
Rick?
Madam Chairman, motion to approve the subsequent lease after all parameters have been agreed upon by all parties, including the meets and bounds, square footage cost, and terms.
Great. Second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or any additional discussion? You know, I think, I just want to point out, because a lot of people don't recognize or realize that this took our executive director, Sean, decades to bring this relationship to where we are today. And we would not be in this spot if it weren't for the tenacity and the relationships that he's built. And through Haugen, Mr. Haugen and everybody else who's been involved, I just want to compliment all of you, because look at what it's doing for us and our economy and for the airport's strength. So I applaud you guys. You're welcome. All right. It's been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote.
Hagan?
Aye.
Cosgrove?
Aye.
Lind?
Aye.
Hogan?
Aye.
Lind?
Aye. Motion carried. Air service update. Thank you all. Thanks, Stacy, too.
Well, I'll make this quick. So just to give you an idea, this morning we screened 25 passengers during our morning rush. Normally we are well over 500, maybe close to 600 passengers during that morning rush. On April 12th, the TSA screened 90,510 passengers nationwide, compared to 2,446,801 same day in 2019. So we're well over a 95% drop, and we're pretty much all tracking the same around the country. We will have some busier flights coming back from Phoenix. There's a lot of snowbirds that are still coming back from Arizona later this month. So for Allegiant, we're doing okay on our inbounds. Our outbounds are pretty much non-existent. They've pretty well shut down Las Vegas and Orlando traffic for obvious reasons, with Disney and Vegas being down. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we're at. About a week ago, the Department of Transportation approved minimum service levels at airports across the country. And at Fargo, our minimum service level is 19 flights per week. That's what is required of the airlines in order to qualify and receive the federal funding. Having said that, a number of carriers have filed continuation of air service exemptions. Frontier was the first last week, and Frontier has requested to be exempt from providing service from April 13th through June 10th of 2020 at 35 communities, and Fargo is part of that. And I got a call, I talked to Dan Schurz on Friday from Frontier, just to make sure that we weren't going to oppose their thing. And the reason is that the congressional language in the CARES Act does not take into consideration carriers like Frontier, Allegiant, Sun Country, Spirit, those that are less than daily service, and those that are seasonal carriers. Yesterday, a number of carriers, United, Alaska, Delta, and others, requested the same exemption, and they basically shut out all of the Hawaii airports, a bunch of other international Caribbean airports that are seasonal in service. They've requested an exemption to not provide service, especially to Hawaii and other locations. So that's still in the making. Right now, like today on a Tuesday, normally it's a slow day, we'll probably have 4 flights today in total. So having said that, it's pretty quiet, as you can see. I did hand out this morning, and Eric, I'll email it to you. It is public information. The Federal Aviation Administration CARES Act Airport Grants Frequently Asked Questions. This is updated as of April 13th. This is the 6th version of what the FAA sent out. And at 10:45 Fargo time, we can dial in, and there's a nationwide phone call with airports across the country with the FAA administrator and others to go through how we qualify and how we will receive the federal funds that will be allocated to airport under the CARES Act. There was $10 billion that was in the CARES Act that will be distributed amongst airports. About $3.7 billion will be divided among airports based on your 2018 enplanements, which figures out to about $4.10, $4.11 per passenger. We should get somewhere over $1.7 million in that pool of funds. There was another $3.7 billion that was allocated to airports based on their debt service. There's some confusion in the calculations on it because we don't have any debt, but yet there's language that would indicate we would qualify for some of that money, even though we don't have any debt. We'll see during the phone call today how that plays out. There's another $2 billion of the 10 that's allocated to airports and will be distributed based, once again, on 2018 data. So there's a lot of, the Q&A is here, you can read through it. We're trying to figure that out along with a bunch of consultants that are out there to find out just how much will we get. What we do know is that you can use the funds for anything that's legally allowable in the operation of the airport. You can use it for construction projects, or you can use it to meet salaries, pay all your expenses, whatever that you can justify in terms of being a legal use under the policy and procedures of federal policy, which is cited in here. And all of you have had access to that. The policies and procedures concerning use of airport revenues. Mr. Cosger, if I can send that to you, it's another long, thick read, but it's pretty interesting in terms of how we can use those funds. So for us, we can have the conversations once we know how much that we're going to qualify for, and then decide, do we want to reimburse ourselves for payroll that can go back to as early as January 20th of 2020? Do we want to use the funds to go towards our share of the cargo apron, the snow removal equipment building, or other eligible projects? The process to draw down the funds will be the same that we do right now with our airport improvement fund grants. We will have to submit invoices and receipts to draw down the funds, so payroll receipts or expenses related to janitorial costs for COVID, things that we've purchased, additional disinfectants or Excel energy bills, whatever that we can come up with that is legally allowable, we can submit.
Does it have to, is there any way that we can help some of our subcontractors through any of this?
They have their own programs
They
that
do,
they
okay.
can. So just to kind of review what the airport authority allowed at our last meeting is we are deferring the payments from our airlines for April, May, and June. And that may be subject to review again, but April, May, and June, that amount, whatever they owe for those 3 months, will be divided by 6. And then starting in July of 2020, 1/6 of that amount will be allocated to them through December 31st. The FAA gives us the option to charge a treasury note interest rate on that or no interest. It's some airports may charge interest, some airports probably aren't. The other action that the board took was to waive the minimum annual guarantee with SP Plus, which was $2.7 million per year, and we're going on a straight percentage. I've had conversations with the car rental agencies. They too have a minimum annual guarantee. I think it's $65,000 right now, Joe, per year. Most of them have already exceeded that minimum annual guarantee, so we're on a straight percentage with them. Restaurant and gift shop are on a straight percentage. Fargo Jet Center, Fargo Aircraft Maintenance are on a 1.5% and 2 cents for each gallon that they pass on to the customer. So really, I think we've addressed all of the concerns that any of our tenants have had to date. One item that Darren and I have been chatting with and we've been working with UPS on, I haven't engaged FedEx on, is because of the reduced passenger landings that we will have, aircraft rescue and firefighting, which we're still providing 24/7, all 10 firefighters are still employed, would be shifted significantly to FedEx and UPS, right, wrong, or indifferent. So Darren went through the 2019 percentages of aircraft rescue and firefighting costs, and I believe the cargo carriers paid around 38 or 39% of the total bill in 2019. So when our April bill comes due for aircraft rescue and firefighting, we may freeze the cargo carriers at that 38 or 39% level. Otherwise, they're going to be picking up about 80-90% of the aircraft rescue and firefighting costs because the airlines are operating a few flights. They're still operating a full schedule. So in order to be fair with them, we may just freeze that amount and then carry whatever excess that there is. Might eat that, or we might use some of the federal funding that we'll get to pick up that share, just to be fair to the cargo carriers as well. If you have any questions on that, but that's a process that is in discussion right now. We'll bring that back to the board once we know more about how to approach that.
Any further word on ND PERS?
Stacy, we talked about that yesterday. You were going to engage Nancy or Eric.
Yes, and I see Eric is on the call. He and I need to just connect here after this meeting and I need a status update as to where the city is falling in on this issue. Because obviously the airport takes the position that if this is available to these firefighters, it needs to either be made available through the city or the airport gets its own number.
Right.
So for Mr. Cosgrave's benefit, Fargo firefighters and police have their own pension. Our firefighters are in North Dakota PERS, and about a year ago, or maybe close to 2 years ago, the legislature adopted a new public safety PERS option for firefighters. Our firefighters qualify for that, and the city of Fargo doesn't offer it. So we've been at the standoff for a few months on trying to get that. Either they have to offer it, or we've got it all set up, the paperwork's ready, we get our own account with North Dakota PERS, and life is beautiful from there. So we have one firefighter that would like that, and he's wanted it for months, and we have 2 or 3 retirements that will take place this year, so our new hires probably will come on and get that. So either, you know what, or get off the pot.
I agree.
This has gone on long enough. This is ridiculous. I don't care what else you got going on in your life, we need to get this done.
Yeah, we
So
gotta
Eric, if you're on the call, get it done.
We gotta take care of them.
Well, I'd be happy to respond. I wasn't here to attend to that, but yeah, we'll certainly try and focus on that. And I know that I haven't gotten a report back on it. Things have been a little bit busy at City Hall. I realize what you just said, Sean, but it has been a bit of a crisis. So I haven't gotten a report back on Andy PERS. I know that Joe was working on it and Mike Reddinger was working on it. Trying to sort out the options there.
Can we get, Eric, can we get a report back by our next meeting as to the status?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to arrange that, either I can do it, or have somebody that maybe is in a better position to report back, that, yeah, I can arrange that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, your next meeting is in 2 weeks?
April
Correct.
28th, and we're done with the excuses.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Enough's enough.
Mike, do you have anything?
You know, they've been on city, they've been on the city pension all this time, since they came over.
No, they've been on North Dakota PERS for years.
They've been on North Dakota PERS for years.
Okay, all right, I misunderstood. Yeah, no, I was here to just chat about, item 6, and maybe you handled that earlier. Sorry, I couldn't attend from the very beginning. I was at another city meeting that started at 7:30, so I hopped on about, 13 minutes after 8, but, the deferral agreement, have you handled that item?
Yep, it's all done.
We have, Eric.
Okay, I just wanted to, at the appropriate time, I just wanted to offer a comment about that, if I may. So I'll leave it to you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, you can offer it.
Yeah, I think, so I just, sort of, my attention was called to the item at the end of the last meeting, on March 24th, where John was asking about the status of that. And I guess I listened to that, and was concerned that there was some exasperation with the status of it. Obviously, it's on the agenda right now, and I just was concerned about that relationship. You know, we've all been working very hard on this relationship, and I didn't want that to be an example of something bad that was happening. You know, I got the sense that it was stated there was some approval 18 months ago, and it had been kind of lying dormant for that long a time. My understanding, and I wasn't directly involved in it, but my understanding of it is that there were quite a few issues having to do with FAA approval of special assessment, or not as the case may be, whether there was a benefit or not, what the solution would be if the city and the airport were able to agree that there is no benefit, because this will always be sort of the glide path for the runway 18, and then identifying the legal description. And certainly there was a time period where we were in the middle of the negotiations for the mediation, you know, perhaps starting sometime in October, November, where we were leading into that, where, you know, Stacy and I actually, in talking about the upcoming mediation, she mentioned that that was a task on the list, and I was saying it was my recommendation that just be held in abeyance until we got the mediation resolved. We didn't need another contentious issue. So in any event, I say all that just to offer the idea that in no way was the city trying to stonewall anything or to prevent anything from moving forward. There were some details regarding legal descriptions that I think it might have taken a little longer, and that probably was on our side, but you know, just client-attorney interaction issues. But certainly it's been an important issue, something we wanted to get resolved, and I tried to work hand in hand with the airport to do that. So again, I just was concerned that there was a misunderstanding, perhaps as to the position of the city or my office, and I didn't want you to walk away feeling that way. So I just wanted to hop on and offer that comment.
Okay, Mr. Haugen wants to say a couple words.
Yeah, I have a question for either attorney. The length of the agreement originally was a 10-year abatement. Now it's been out for several years. What's the date and length of the agreement going to be? Will it be current another 10 years, or will we backdate it and have to do another one in 6 years?
Stacey, I'll let you address that.
Well, I guess I take the position that it's going to be valid, it's going to enforceable as the date it's signed by the parties, and actually essentially recorded against the legals. So we're not back here revisiting this in the next 6 years or 10 years from now through. And I just did want to comment. I mean, I don't want to ever throw anyone under the bus, but I did have my proposed agreement and the legals to the city in April, and I understand there was a whole series of events that happened, but I would like to say we're here and we're getting it done, we'll get it recorded, and then we can move forward. So I think
April?
this is a good thing.
Sure, I
So
totally
it's
agree with
April-
that, yeah.
so Stacy,
Yeah, there's no, appreciate that.
So Stacy, it was April of 2019, is that correct?
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that's when I provided the legal. I know the city needed to verify those. And then, as Eric indicated, then we faced the issue of, proposed dissolution of the airport authority and the issues between the city and the airport, which, as we know, took several months to iron out. So while I think there was a lag in time, there obviously was some intervening circumstances there as well.
Okay, and I think we've
But
already.
like I said, we got it done.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Stacy. We already made the motion and of what to do, so we look forward to moving forward and not having to revisit this again. Any other questions or comments? Mike?
I have one
So
question,
Eric, what I
Sean.
will do for
Okay, hold on. Mike? Yeah.
The 10:45 thing is today for the FAA.
We call in at 10:45, I think it starts at 11 o'clock Fargo time.
Okay, are you gonna do that here? Can any of us sit in on that here, or are you gonna do it in your office?
Yeah, we're limited to, well, 2, yeah, I mean, anybody can sit in on the conference call if you're interested. If there's gonna be more than 2, we'd have to put a public notice out.
Mhm.
I can give you the number too, and you can listen from home.
Also, trying to move forward into normalcy, I know we've put a hold on the High Flyer Award, and I would like to have our first award for the High Flyer, the employee that has, I know we've got some nominations, and just give a little public shout out at the next meeting. So we'll prepare that. So there's a lot of people who should be recognized right now, and I think let's start looking at some positives too, so as we move forward. Any other business before the airport? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thanks for coming.